All right, welcome to part 4 of my collection. Yeah, that's why I had to break it up. It's gonna be long ones. Anyways, so the next one on our list is another sword from Drum Swords. Ordered this with another one from their website. It's been a good sword. I have no complaints of it. The Eater wrap is done well. It's got real Samigawa Ishime finish on the saya as well. Nice good Sagyo. Nothing except for the Kasha back here being a tad loose and nothing bad. Finish is good, no hot spots. The saya fits really tight on this one. And this one, unfortunately, I have some gunk on the end of this blade because I didn't wipe it down good enough and it got a little rust. So I have to polish it out more. You notice it has an Okazaki on it. This was supposed to be a Shobu, but most people get the Shobu wrong. Like I've always said, the Shinogi line is supposed to go at an angle at the top. So just because it has an Okazaki doesn't mean it's a Shobu. It's basically a Shinogi Zukuri with an Okazaki. So this one's a little bit more front heavier. So if you're not used to that front heaviness on swords, it may not be comfortable for you. Especially one-handed. Two-handed, it's not bad. This saya has, or the Tsuba has come a little bit loose. Nothing too big. As you can hear, that moves up and down. So I'll have to see about shimming that. The paint on the Kasaki, or the collar, I'm having a brain fart, is coming off and it's brass underneath. But as functionality, like I said, I have no complaints. It works, it does what it's supposed to do. It is a through-hardened 1095 blade. Stays nice and sharp too. It does a really good job at cutting. So it was a little over $100. Some of these I just can't remember the exact pricing. So I mean, it's a sub $100 sword. It's not a $200 sword or anything like that. So I can forgive like some of the mishaps. This is the only sword that from them that's done this. So can't complain. Handle length is about 11 inches on this one too. Kind of like the Hanbon. All Hanbons are 11 inches. But like I said, if you're not used to the front heaviness, because I think this one's out almost to 6 on the POV on this one, you might find it a little cumbersome. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. But this thing locks in like crazy. So yeah, it's not a bad one at all. I've used it quite a bit. I just have to polish up that blade a little bit more. But yeah, Drum Swords, and they're actually pretty good. If you haven't checked out their website, check them out. They could be a little pricey, but then they have some that are really budget friendly too as well. This was one of them. Next sword right here is another one from Hero Sword. Size just got a flat matte finish to it. This has a 15.5 inch handle. And the reason being is because this is a Nagamaki. Now most people go, that's not a Nagamaki. It doesn't have a 36 inch handle. Okay, you're talking about like Muromachi period and all that. Where the handles were 36 inches on the battlefield. Especially during the Sengoku period. Okay. This is a differentially hardened T10 blade. Approximately 28 inches long with a Unukubi Zukuri geometry on it. The hamon line is really, really nice on this. I like it. Now, the eater wrap and everything is done well. It's not real Samigawa. The tang comes about to right here on this. And what I mean by going back to when people say that's not a real nagamaki is nagamakis, first off, don't have a set standard on how they're supposed to be. Unlike a katana and a wakizashi and a tanto, those actually have set standards, parameters they stay in. Nagamakis don't, neither do nodachis. Okay, and when I researched this on the nagamaki, what happened was during the Edo period, a lot of people wanted to stick with a nagamaki because they like the leverage. And this thing even has a 15 and a half inch handle. It gives you great leverage. So what they did was, if you're in an urban setting, a 36-inch handle does not work, okay? Especially in like metropolitan streets. You need a lot of room for that. So what they did was they had the handles chopped down. Instead of having a whole new sword done up, they just had the handles chopped down to a shorter handle to 15 and a half, 16 inches, maybe even 19. You can still kind of wield them. And that's why this is still classified as a nagamaki. Okay. So, just so everybody knows, yes, this is a nagamaki. Still nice and sharp, has a nice strong reinforced tip, just like all unakubis do. This thing has been fun to use. They're a totally different beast though. When you use something with this type of a handle or longer, you really got to get used to the movements, because it's not so much as slashing as it is swoops. That's pretty much how these are used. You're going to use big swoops with them. You can still use it as a traditional size sword, depending on what you're doing, because this long handle can make it kind of cumbersome. But they are fun to use. But yeah, doing large swoops work best with them, kind of like a naginata. Naginata's movements are going to be the same as a katana, but when you go into big swoops, that's when it really performs. Same with this. So if you want to learn that traditional like swoop moves for like, you know, huge arcing cuts, a naginata, which is hard to find a good one, or a nagamaki, really will teach you that movement the best. This is also a T10 blade. I don't know if I said that, but yeah. This runs on Amazon on Hero Swords for about $175, so it's not that bad of a price. So you're in it for almost $200 with tax shipping, unless it has free shipping. So yeah, the nagamaki, it's a fun sword to use though. And for the next one, I saved this one for last. This is also from Hero Swords. It's got real Samigawa. The eater wrap is tight on this one too. Now the saya it's an ishime again, but with dark blue speckles on it. It's kind of hard to pick up on the light sometimes. But when I first got it, I thought it was just a black ishime until the light hit it, and I was like, wait a minute, is that blue? And yeah, it has dark blue speckles on it. So that's kind of cool. The Sagyo on it's not as high quality as the Shobu one, but that's okay. It's a crane theme. This side is really tight. They make some tight fits. So, and I don't use this one very much because this is like one of my pride and joys. I do love using it when I get a chance and I have fun with it. It's because this is a kogarasu or a motohara. They're almost the same thing, which is a double-edged sword. Double-edged katana, basically. The hibaki, now I'm remembering it. It's just plain brass. Nothing fancy. Now, the most complaint people have when they get these is the back is not sharp. And they do that a lot for safety reasons. Mine actually had a slight edge to it. And it still kind of does. It needs to be touched up, but it's not a razor's edge. Okay, it's not as sharp as the front. From what I understand, anyways, on a motohara or kogarasu, this back edge is not supposed to be extremely sharp anyways. Not as sharp as the front. Also, from what I found out, there's no historical records showing that these were actually used in battle. It's not to say that they weren't, okay? But the premise of it is, yes, so you have the back edge you can cut with, or what people call a false edge. It does have a spear tip, so it's really good for stabbing. So you have your really sharp edge in front for most attacks. The reason why the back edge isn't that sharp is if you had to deflect, it doesn't chip out as bad. But also if you did deflect, you could put this up if you can get it into there, or if your opponent's not wearing armor. If you get it on their neck, you could pull back on it and still, cut them. So by putting pressure on the blade and moving it, you don't need like a razor's edge to do that. So yeah, the back side is supposed to be sharp, but not as sharp as the front. That's how these work. Most people get it wrong. They're like, I'm going to put a razor's edge on there, and they wind up cutting themselves. That's another reason why it's not that extremely sharp. Because to put one of these away is a task in itself. I have done a video on this, how I do it safely. So basically, I'll just demonstrate. I take my thumb and my forefinger and I pinch the tip, but I leave a good amount of space so it's not going to stab me. And then, after I have it at that point, I'll turn it, and this hand will grab the mouth of the saya. I drop it in, and then I move my hand out of the way. I found that to be the safest way of resheathing one of these. Some people will put it right here and then slide their hand up. I'm not even going to try this without looking. The problem is if you go this way and you made a razor's edge, you're cutting into your finger. And I can attest that one of these swords will cut you down to the bone that quick. Okay, so I will put a card somewhere, up here on that video that I did. Get my oily finger mark off of there. On resheathing, so if anybody wants to see it, you can see it. To me, that is like the safest way to resheath one of these, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to wind up cutting yourself. And it's best, if you don't know what you're doing, to just do this. Just take it out of your oily belt if it's in there and just do it like that. Then you know you're not going to get cut. Because like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get severely cut by one of these things. All right. And like I said, I did sharpen that back edge a little bit more. But it's not extreme. It will cut a bottle, like a water bottle, a plain water bottle. It'll cut one. It takes a little skill to do, but you can do it. But yeah, this is like one of my pride and joys in my collection because not a lot of people have these, and they are a fun sword to use. I mean, it zips through bottles like it's nothing because it's so thinned out. But again, if you get one of these, be extremely careful with them, especially if that backside is sharp. Most people don't do it for, like I said, for safety reasons. And if you do sharpen it, it's not a razor's edge. You don't need that on that backside, okay? Because now you definitely are creating a hazard. If you want something that's going to be sharp on both sides, just get a European sword, okay? Because even with those, you got to be extremely careful, which we'll get into my European swords too. So there's another 3 for you guys. We're moving right along in this collection. How many parts will be to this series? I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to make a playlist just for it. So eventually we'll get to 3. One's actually my wife's. Favorite Edo wraps that I have is, to me, they're the most comfortable that I've ever owned. So, hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you on the next one.